Live, are we live? There we go. We are live for episode 2 of Hot Takes.
Right.
Austin, what jersey are you wearing? I didn't even ask you before this.
Derek Rose. I thought it would be topical.
Very humorous, because that man gets his body hurts a lot sometimes.
If he hears this joke, he's going to be out for 4 to 6 months.
He hurt his ear. He started laughing and he broke his rib.
His diaphragm just fell apart like it was cooked too long.
Yeah, what an idiot that millionaire athlete is.
His life must suck.
Well, I don't even care at this point. Honestly, I'm kind of rooting for the next injury because it's so much fun to watch. He gets injured in the weirdest ways.
I want body parts to start falling off.
It's also cool because athletes they're not even real. They're not even real people. They're kind of like movie characters. Yeah.
They die. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
Exactly.
They respawn.
So, first topic we were gonna jump into was the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Recap of Week 3 victory that Austin and I called last week on the podcast.
Congrats, you guys.
But didn't it kind of the way that we said it? Didn't it kind of not exactly what the first half was how Austin said it was going to go. They were going to kick the shit out of them, and then they were really just going to fucking just instill faith back in everyone. And of course that's not how the game ended, but there was no logic to it. There was no logic to why the Eagles won that game. Other than the defense played great, and the special teams played well enough.
I think we got a little lucky. I think they had some key guys out that would have changed the dynamic of their offense. I think the wagon kind of went off the rails a little bit with Decker out. Ivory wasn't able to be used. Bilal Powell's not an NFL caliber player. So it resembled mostly last year's Jets offense, which is pretty bad. If Decker plays, they came all the way back. I mean, Brandon Marshall doesn't flip that ball to our team. There could be a big difference in what happened. I think
Eagles had some shots too, though, that they didn't capitalize on. I mean, they had a few drop passes that could have probably went for touchdowns. So they're not playing up to their they didn't play up to their full potential. But
I feel like the defense overall played pretty well.
They did.
Yeah.
The offensive line played better. Ryan Matthews got the run game going a little bit.
Yeah.
There were good parts of it. Bradford the passing game still isn't there.
He's awful. He's really, truly horrendous. Every once in a while, he'll have one or two throws that is on target, and that's a drop. But that is splitting hairs at this point. Seriously. If you're an NFL quarterback, and you're supposed to be a good NFL quarterback, drops shouldn't even matter. You should be supposed to be hitting people in the chest you're supposed to be making things happen, making your teammates better, making reads, progressions. We shouldn't be worrying about, if he didn't have 2 drops, he would have had a good game. That's a terrible quarterback.
Yeah, especially when the same thing happened in St. Louis. They were saying there might be something about the zip that he puts on the ball because his receivers always drop the ball.
So he's throwing it too hard.
So something.
Sometimes too.
It's not that common. It's guys drop balls. That happens, but not this often. Especially good receivers. Darren Sproles is the best receiving running back in the NFL. Yeah. Jordan Matthews has solid hands. I mean, you'd expect this from Riley Cooper and, maybe Ryan Matthews, even though Ryan Matthews... Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ryan Matthews had one season where he had 900 receiving yards. It's not like he isn't a pass-catching back. It's just not...
But even so, if you look at pass-catching running backs, Sproles was a legitimate drop. Ryan Matthews, to expect what is he, 6 foot, 215-pound running back, to turn completely around and do a pirouette and catch the ball and keep going. In an NFL, I definitely have that expectation that he should be able to make that, but the drop doesn't necessarily surprise me. If Bradford leads him, it's a touchdown. I mean, that's plain and simple.
Yeah.
That's how easy it is in Chip's offense to get points.
Has to be better. The execution on the running game was a lot better, but they did lose Andrew Gardner for the season.
Now, what are we going to do?
But then again,
Pro Football Focus said he's the best football player in the NFL.
But then again, you could say that, but also, Jason said, Matt Tobin shouldn't even be on the team, so he's going to be playing every week now. What's that?
There's no drop off of Gardner. They're the same level of bad, right? you're going to get average to below average guard play. Honestly, Barber's been the worst one by like a large amount. Even on good plays where he ran for 10, 15 yards, he was lost, blocking nobody, facing the wrong way. It's like he's playing a different sport. I think that at this point you might want to look at replacing him, even though, I don't know who you're going to replace him with.
Yeah, I mean the rest of the line has to step up now that Gardner's out too. So should be fun.
Yeah. And the problem is you can't get Ertz on the field because he can't block, which is a detriment to Zach Ertz. So you have to keep Selleck in there, and Selleck gives you nothing offensively.
And he's not even blocking well anymore. He was blocking well last year.
No,
he's not even blocking good anymore. So
how bad at blocking is Ertz? If Brent Selleck blocking horrifically.
I just don't even think Zach Ertz is that good.
No,
I don't really think he reminds me of like the. All right, I'm not gonna compare him to L.J. Smith, but
that's what I was thinking.
It reminds me of every year. It's like this is the year L.J. Smith is just gonna be good, and I'm like, okay, he's in his third year in the NFL now. He's played plenty of snaps, plenty of games, and there has yet to be outside of that one game he had last year. I forget who it was against, Green Bay or something.
Was that the Redskins game?
Arizona or Minnesota, he played really well, and then he played really well in Arizona, I think, right?
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. You have to be consistent.
Yeah, I'm seeing like an athletic player that can certainly create separation sometimes, doesn't really have home run speed, doesn't have the best hands in the world. You kind of have an athletic player playing tight end. It's fine. They're not necessarily a dime a dozen, but
you would also think that with a quarterback like Sam Bradford, who all he does is dink and dump, he would be able to get the ball to.
You would think.
Tight end.
Yeah, I mean, like bad quarterbacks rely on running backs and tight ends, and he's only relied on the running backs so far.
Yeah.
I also wonder.
I see a lot of people on Twitter, and they're like, "I'm not giving up on Bradford yet." So I want to know what that means. Are you? I'm not giving up on Bradford. He's going to look like Tom Brady? Or are you holding out hope that he's not a complete dumpster fire worth cutting at this exact moment?
I think I'm not giving up on him because he's been in the offense for 3 games. He missed the last 2 years. I'm not giving up on him. The real reason I'm not giving up on him is because I want to watch the season and have some hope that I can watch a playoff game and not just be like, okay, well, the Sixers and Flyers are coming up. That's going to be a disaster too. So I'm just holding out hope that maybe he can get it together and just be okay. Maybe Aguilar and Huff get better, but as it currently stands, it's trending in the wrong direction.
So,
yeah, I mean, every single week the yard per attempt has actually gone down, which is so. Like, if it was trending up slowly, I'd be like, okay, but progressively, week after week, he has looked the same or worse at certain spots. I mean, the second half of the Falcons game is looking more like an anomaly than anything else, right? How many quarters does it get?
I don't even think the second half of the Falcons game is necessarily an anomaly. It's more like don't get me wrong, like it's great they scored all those points, but it's not like Bradford was lighting the world on fire. Literally every pass was 6-7 yards. None of them were down the field. I haven't even seen him throw the ball like 20 yards down the field, like all year. I feel like
it's a joke.
You can't win in the NFL like that.
Yeah.
Alex Smith threw it 30 yards last night.
That was a Hail Mary for him, dude. They had the ball at the 10-yard line, and and Andy Reid was like, Hail Mary, dude.
And I don't think you have to go deep that often, but it's like you just have to do it enough where they respect it. Like Tom Brady doesn't go deep like all the time, but they at least have the threat of it, and he goes to the short passes, and the offense is effective. It's about effectiveness, but those passes aren't even effective right now.
One of the best players to ever live.
Yeah, I know.
So it truthfully helps.
I mean, I'm just saying it's not about going deep. It's about the yards per attempt, but that's down because he's not even hitting the short routes. They're not hitting guys in stride. Nobody's even respecting the deep ball, so they just cover you shorter.
For me, it's about opportunity cost. When you're not going deep or you're going short or you're going flat, we're giving up something. It's not that our plays are designed like that. He's missing Aguilar down the field, right?
He's locking on guys. That's what's bothering me. He's just locking on guys and throwing it right out of the snap.
Yeah, like if he throws it up to Miles Austin on that slant, Miles Austin should be cut yesterday, but he still catches that, being Miles Austin. That's not at his feet. You know.
Yep.
But give me 3 more weeks.
I think that on the other side of the ball, I think Billy Davis gets a bad rap. Actually,
He had 2 good games.
Yeah.
The first week of the season, I felt like everyone was saying he should be fired.
People have been saying that.
It's because Julio Jones was single covered the entire game. He's the best player in football right now.
But he only had like 1 catch in the second half. That's what everyone was
This
like.
is true.
No adjustments were made in the second half. We gave up 6 points. That was it.
True.
It seemed to me like there was a ton of adjustments made.
Yeah,
And
what is it, 37 points over the last, or 33 points over the last 37 drives or something like that?
Yeah, we shut the Cowboys down. He had 2 rookies playing this week, and they looked really good. That's a testament to either their training and practice or putting those guys in a position to succeed. Obviously, scouting as well, but I think he's done a really good job. I think he's
Brandon Bear looked like a beast, and he's Brandon Bear.
I mean, yeah, getting the most out of your players, that had to be coaching telling him to just continuously get his hands up to make a difference, and he batted about 3 balls, and then 1 was intercepted. Also, you have to think that going into Washington against Kirk Cousins this week will be favorable. A favorable matchup. I mean, they're the #1 run defense in football, so you shouldn't be too worried about that. Not that it can't happen, but Kirk Cousins is...
And no premier wide receivers, unlike this past weekend when you have Brandon Marshall. And Terrence Williams isn't all that good, but he can stretch the field on you a little bit for the Cowboys, and obviously Julio Jones. That doesn't exist this weekend. Who's their best wide receiver? Is probably Jordan Reed, who's a tight end, so it doesn't even, I think that's going to be a good opportunity for our secondary to actually play really well this weekend instead of average to above average.
And this is a game where Bradford has to show up because their pass defense isn't that good. And this is where we need to get Aguilar and Huff more involved. I feel like they're good players, but I don't know if Chip's using them well enough. They're good with the ball in their hands. Same with Ertz.
I don't know, but if you question Chip Kelly anytime, Twitter's going to kill you, dude. Do you know that every decision he's ever made has been literally perfect? He's Bill Belichick.
It's actually true. He's won 7 Super Bowls.
I know. It's amazing, though. It is funny, though, how if you say, I don't think that was a good move, Eagles Twitter will just come down on you like you're some kind of dunce. Like, oh, sorry. I guess I won't have an opinion on it, but it looks like our offensive line is great, so it worked out. You're right.
So what do you think happens this week?
I think it's a close win. I think we win by 3.
I think we ultimately blow it. I think we probably start.
Literally unbelievable. Jason said 2 days ago he thinks the Eagles will win, but he's going to say that the Eagles are going to lose because he needs to keep that up.
It worked. That's all you need to know. No, but honestly though, do you really truly have faith that we're better than the Redskins? Forget talent. Have we been better than the Redskins? I don't think so.
I think our defense is better than theirs. I feel like our skill positions are better.
We go 20 to 30 minutes without getting across the 50-yard line now.
Yeah.
Three and out.
This game comes down to Bradford.
I don't know. I look at the teams that they've played so far. I look at both teams that they've played, and I think the Eagles have played by far the harder schedule. I mean, I think that the Redskins have played 3 bad teams, and the Eagles have played, when Tony Romo was healthy, a decent team. Falcons, I mean, say what you want, but they're 3-0.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, they beat the Jets, and the Jets have had a good defense. I
definitely think the Eagles have played a tougher schedule, but I don't think it's so egregious.
But that's why I think that you could say that they are better. I mean, I think the Redskins have looked terrible against the Giants. I think they look terrible against the Dolphins. I think they beat the Rams, but it was like a really close game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think any of those teams are good. I think all those teams are really bad, actually.
They are good. I mean, I think we're looking at like a 21-16 loss, something like that. Something that's going to be nice, soul-crushing for the fans of Philadelphia. Something really special.
I think stopping the powerhouse that is Nick Foles is pretty impressive, though. I don't know how the Redskins did that.
Pro Bowl
Peyton Manning.
Pro Bowl MVP, threw 7 touchdowns in 1 game, left the field with the lead against the Saints.
27-2.
Yeah, Porter, what do you think? You think we win, I guess?
I think that they win. I don't think it's like a sizable margin, but I think it's a touchdown win.
What would get you back on board where you're like, okay, I think this team's figuring it out? What would the score have to be? What would the score look like?
I don't think it's a score. It's about Bradford, I think.
That's the thing is I don't really care about the score because it's like they should have won by a lot more than they did this past week. And in the first half, they were up 24-0, and I still was like, this. They still good. Like they look good, but they didn't look like 24-0 good. So I
was certainly fortunate
win a close game,
aspects.
And then have Sam Bradford have a good game, and then also have the defense continue to play solid. But no, I think it will. I think it will be low scoring again. I don't really think it's going to be. I think it will be like, I don't know, like 17-10 or like 16-9, something really low scoring.
God, not one of those games.
I mean, it has to be realistically. Neither team has a good offense.
True.
So.
Well, anyway, transitioning, we talked a lot about the Cowboys, and I think Porter and I were more on the fence of Brandon Whedon's probably going to be okay for the Cowboys. He's not going to be the complete dumpster fire that he was in Cleveland. I think he proved that. I think he showed that he can be manageable in that style offense.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think he can make any plays to win a game, though.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to be in a close game.
Yeah, I mean...
Big runs. They had big runs last week.
Really also poor skill set in terms of wide receiver, running back, and tight end combo. Like one of the worst in the league right now.
Yeah, I think it is the worst. Hard to find one that's worse.
Yeah, so and he still was kind of successful last week in terms of just managing the game, giving an opportunity to win. He was certainly better than he thought.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, he was very efficient. He was 22 for 26 for like 250 yards. He did throw an interception. I mean, they were asking him to be a game manager, and that's exactly what he was. What it came down to was the Cowboys' run defense was terrible. Ironically, a week after they have the Eagles have -8 rushing yards against them. But no, I mean, yeah, I don't think that Brandon Whedon, like I said, I don't see that big of a disparity between Brandon Whedon and Matt Castle. Cleveland is a wasteland for quarterbacks. All they're going to ask him to do is manage the game. But the best thing is when you Google Brandon Whedon, the first thing that comes up is a quote from Jerry Jones that says, "I didn't say Brandon Whedon was better than Troy Aikman."
He's just saying that arbitrarily. Nobody even asked him. He was just like, hey, just to let you know.
Prompted.
I think Jerry Jones does cocaine all the time. I think he's constantly on cocaine. He acts like he's on cocaine. He looks like he's on cocaine.
Absolutely.
It's the rich man's drug.
Yeah, anyway, I still think this is very firmly the Cowboys' division.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's very firmly, but I think it is their division. I think it's by default.
And until the Eagles prove that they can, number one, beat a divisional rival, and two, prove that they can have a quarterback, I think it's Cowboys' division. I think if you're looking at most overrated team in the NFL right now, it's actually the New York Giants. Because people, for some reason, mainstream media, whoever you want, they don't think they're a huge dumpster fire. And
they're bad.
They're a horrible team.
I mean, the defense is the worst in the division, by far.
Absolutely. You have sporadic Eli Manning. I mean, take Odell Beckham Jr. off that team, and that team is literal garbage. They have a terrible coach, a bad quarterback, very limited running game. They can certainly run it better than in years past, but it's still not very good. Their offensive line is in shambles. I mean, how people are picking them to win the division? Absolutely not. I'll take the Brandon Whedon-led Cowboys over the New York Giants right now, guaranteed.
Yeah, I think it goes Cowboys. I'd probably go. Until Kirk Cousins isn't their quarterback, I still think they're the worst. I still think the Redskins have to be the worst. If Kirk Cousins is your starting quarterback, you're the worst team. And it doesn't matter if he's and I don't even think Sam Bradford is that much better than Kirk Cousins. That's how bad Sam Bradford has played. But Kirk Cousins.
Do you think Bradford's as good as Whedon? Who's better, Bradford or Whedon?
I think Bradford's better than Brandon Whedon.
But why do you think that? Because you hope that he is.
Yeah,
no, because throughout his career, he's been better than Brandon Whedon.
Is he?
Really?
I don't know if he's better than Brandon Whedon. He hasn't played like it.
Brandon Whedon's had a lot more turnovers.
Touchdown in our game.
Okay, Brandon Whedon's had a lot more turnovers. That's okay. There are a lot of bad quarterbacks who don't turn the ball over because they don't throw the ball downfield. How is Sam Bradford going to turn the ball over? He doesn't throw it past 4 yards.
I think that Sam Bradford and Brandon Whedon are on the same
I think same level. I mean, I don't really think that there's anything. I'm not saying that Whedon is more. I'm just saying is he could play at the same level as Sam Bradford. That's how bad Sam Bradford has played. The quarterbacks in the division are all terrible when Tony Romo's out.
Yeah.
So it's really.
It's maybe the worst in the NFL.
Eli Manning's the best one, and he's Eli Manning.
Eli's the best one, and I would rate him almost last in the entire NFC. So, like, he's worse than all but one quarterback in the NFC North. I would take Winston, Breeze, Ryan, and Newton over him. I would take Palmer. Who else is even in? Russell Wilson, easily.
Kaepernick.
I wouldn't take Foles or Kaepernick. So yeah, almost all the quarterbacks in the NFC, I would take over Eli Manning.
At this point in his career, I think that's fair. I mean, I don't think that he's doing anything that is, yeah.
No.
I mean, I think he was always a middle-of-the-road quarterback, if at best.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we will see what happens.
I think the best team right now is in the NFC. I know everyone. The trendy pick is the Packers because Aaron Rodgers is really good. But is anybody else on that team really good? I don't really think so. Eddie Lacy has like 100 yards this year. That's it. I think the best team is very clearly the Arizona Cardinals in every phase of the game.
Yeah.
The Cardinals still haven't faced anybody now.
I think they could walk into Green Bay and smack them around.
Oh, I don't think so. I think the Cardinals haven't faced anybody yet. It's hard for me to tell until they beat somebody better than, I don't know, who's their best win? They killed the Bears. They killed the Niners.
Wait, who was it? What was the second week?
Second week was the Bears.
Yeah.
No. What was the first week?
I forget. Last week was the Niners. The first week was...
Let's look it up.
The Saints.
We're looking it up for you.
Yeah, all the teams they've played are very bad. All the teams they've played are very bad, but really good teams beat bad teams.
What a fucking load of shit that is. I searched Cardinals in Google and it came up.
Well, I know what it is.
Baseball team.
It was
the Saints.
It's not baseball.
It was the Saints.
It was
the Bears and the Niners.
Those are all teams that will be picking the top 10. But they did smack them around, but I still don't have confidence in Palmer outgunning Aaron Rodgers.
I honestly think with the level of play that he's getting out of his wide receivers, I mean, I'm not shocked. I still think the Packers are the best team just because they have the best quarterback.
Yeah.
And it makes that much of a in a passing league, it makes that much of a difference.
But I look at their defense, and the Cardinals' defense is layered with real solid talent, awesome depth. Their running game has left to be desired, but Larry Fitzgerald is playing at the highest level he's played at in years. John Brown's really good. They have functional tight ends. I think their head coach is a huge whiny bitch, but I think he's a good head coach. I definitely think he knows what he's doing. I think he's a crybaby though. I think if you look on the other side of things, I think if you take out Aaron Rodgers, I think that team's also picking in the top 10 in the NFL.
So you think it's?
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that too. But I mean, I think
if you put Rodgers on any team in the league, they're almost one of the best.
Yeah, but if you think about every team that Aaron Rodgers has been on, couldn't you? I feel like I could say that for almost every year. If you take away Aaron Rodgers from the year that the Packers won the Super Bowl, their defense was decent. But if you take Aaron Rodgers off that team, they're like a 7-9 team. Like it's like 7 and 9.
I'd say worse than that, honestly.
6 and 10, maybe. I don't know.
If you take Palmer off the Cardinals, they're a 7-9 team. If you take Aaron Rodgers off the Packers, you might have a 4 or 5 win team, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that they rely a lot on him, but I mean, honestly, at this point, until I really could not believe there is potential for a Bengals-Cardinals Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't think
and really.
Yeah, I don't think
they're both. I don't think they're going to beat the
Patriots.
Patriots. No,
Andy Dalton's playing well.
Yeah, I mean he's played well for a few. The defense is playing really well. I mean Jeremy Hill has been trash, but Giovanni Bernard has played well. Be interesting to see, but that would be great. Carson Palmer versus the Bengals.
You know what? I have a very firm stance that bad quarterbacks don't just get good ever. Done. Matt Castle, you'll never be good. Brandon Whedon's never going to be a good player.
Bradford will though.
No. These 3 games mean nothing to me, truthfully. He's played some bad teams. He played Oakland kind of before they figured it out, and Oakland's defense of secondary is really not that great still.
Ravens' defense is really bad.
Baltimore,
secondary.
Baltimore's 0-3. They're not good. I think that if they played the Patriots, they would get the alarms would go off.
And I agree with that too, because I buy into the Bengals every year, and I can't fall for it again because they always start out in September. They look great.
They have a Super Bowl
great
roster.
weapons.
They do, but they do not have a Super Bowl quarterback. He cannot win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could really. I think it's the Patriots conference to win.
Yeah,
100%.
Right now, I would go Patriots Cardinals
I would say Patriots Cardinals too.
So what we're gonna do this week, just so Twitter's following along, what we talked about is we like to do these listicles. We're all very excited about it, but we have our.
Have you guys heard of these things before?
They're called lists. I don't know if you've seen something called BuzzFeed. It's like a website, and they just list a bunch of stuff. But anyway, top 5 wide receivers now and then in history. I don't know. Do you have your list? You want to go through it?
I have my list of all time, but I can't remember my current list. So I'll just do my all-time one first.
Wow. You're kicked out.
Okay. So 5, I had Andre Johnson, which we discussed before. The justification for that is Andre Johnson always had trash quarterbacks, and he's still statistically one of the best wide receivers of all time. And there was like a good 3 or 4 year period when he was healthy, he was dominant. So I had him at 5, Calvin Johnson at 4. I mean, kind of don't even have to talk about that one. For 2-3 years as well, set the record for, was it receiving yards in a season he had? He had the record?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he has the record for receiving yards. Number 3 was Terrell Owens. Once again, I don't really think I need to explain that. Number 2 was Jerry Rice, and number 1 was Randy Moss. It's Ray Rice's brother, Jerry. And then number 1 was Randy Moss, because once again, I break it down to never had a good quarterback. When he did have a good quarterback, he was the best. So I mean.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to. I mean, you can say what you want. I know Jerry Rice was a great receiver, but he had Steve Young, Joe Montana, and
he did.
Rich Gannon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like he always had good quarterbacks.
And not only that, he had great running games. He had an awesome defense, a great offensive line. He was on some of the best teams that have ever been in the NFL. Routine.
Yeah, which certainly helped his stats in his career. Whereas Randy Moss played for a bunch of trash teams and was always until he got to the Patriots. But yeah, so that was my 5 for all time.
Awesome.
Mine's similar. 5, I'd go Chris Carter. Chris Carter was dominant when he played. 4, I'd go Calvin Johnson. 3, T.O., 2, Randy Moss, and 1, Jerry Rice.
Yeah,
it's just hard for me to not pick Jerry Rice because he just owns every record, and he owns it by a lot. They're not even close.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, I guess over the course of a career, he played for 20 years, 21.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to have a career that long anymore.
Yeah, that's true as well.
They're not.
He's still 7,000 yards he's beating Randy Moss by.
Yeah.
No,
he was certainly dominant.
All right. Do you have a now list?
But wait, I have a question. Do you think Emmitt Smith is the best running back of all time?
No.
Well, then throw that logic out the window because he owns all the records by a sizable amount.
Not all of them.
Yes, most of them.
He owns a lot of the records, and he
has the most yards, but he also he doesn't have the best yards per carry.
Why the fuck you lying?
I don't know. I see it different for receivers and running backs. Because Brett Favre owns a lot of records, or he did. He's not a top 5 quarterback.
No,
True.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Brett Favre's trash compared to his replacement.
But Jerry Rice did it in the league before it passed as much as it does now, too.
Yeah.
True.
He was trash compared to his replacement, Donovan McNabb.
I don't think it's a huge difference, but I still take Rice over Moss a little bit. And I think Jerry Rice ran more routes, too. Moss was more of a go-route kind of guy.
Yeah. I never really watched him play, so I can't really say, but I watched a documentary with Randy Moss a week ago, and the entire time I was screaming.
Austin, do you have a list for now, wide receivers today?
They're all on the Eagles. Number 1's Riley Cooper. But okay. Top 5 right now. I think Antonio Brown is insane. He hasn't been stopped in 2 years. He's an automatic 10 catch, 100 yards a game, 150 yards a game, without question.
Yeah.
I have him 1. I have Julio Jones 2, who's just killing it this year.
Yep.
3, probably Des Bryant when he's healthy. He's best red zone threat in the league. And I hate to say that because I hate Des Bryant, but 4, probably A.J. Green. And then I go back and forth. 5, I'll say Odell Beckham. I'm feeling Odell Beckham today.
We have a similar
Who's your
list.
other?
Calvin Johnson's up there. And still, he looked really good
My
against
list
Richard
all
Sherman.
time. I'm going Calvin Johnson, number 5. I think he was he was really dominant, but I actually think he left some things to be desired. Durability being one, which is not always his fault. He got nicked up a lot.
He left a lot of meat on the bone.
He left. I mean, he did. He he's had the benefit of a really good quarterback playing for him. I think he's a gunslinger. It's perfect for Calvin Johnson, which I'm not using it to punish him. He's in my top 5. He's freakishly good. But number 4, I have Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald, I thought, played with collectively the worst wide receivers of all time. Lost his counterpart in Anquan Bolden. Never had a good running game. He had Kurt Warner, and now he has Carson Palmer. He hasn't been healthy until really now. And Larry Fitzgerald hasn't really been healthy either with Carson Palmer. So I think that what he's been able to do for one team for all those years, Larry Fitzgerald gets the nod at 4 for me.
He dominated the playoffs that one year.
He did. He does like to dominate. He loves just fucking the Eagles, doesn't he? Just gently. Oh, it's terrible.
Always start him on DraftKings, and whenever the Eagles play the Cardinals, start Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, and Randy Moss is what you're
sponsored. That was a sponsored comment by Austin. He's only $4,600.
Eagles play the Cardinals on my birthday, so they're gonna ruin my birthday.
Oh hell yeah!
I finished off with Owens, Rice, Moss. I think Randy Moss is more gifted than Jerry Rice. I think Jerry Rice, again, he played on the best teams known in like NFL history. I think that he, probably isn't as good. Like if you put Randy Moss on those teams, I think he's better numbers than Jerry Rice. Is really just what it comes down to for me.
Those are the 3, though. That's like kind of like almost indisputable.
Terrell Owens probably he could have been probably maybe even above one of them, but he never shut his mouth.
Yeah.
But
I hope he makes the Hall of Fame first ballot because he was that good.
Yeah.
He will.
Absolutely he is. Absolutely he is.
amazing.
And Andy Reid should have paid him. I loathe Andy Reid. Andy Reid, just give him freaking money.
Yeah, just give him a couple more dollars. Throw him a bone and be good. Throw him a bone. You don't need to draft Reggie Brown.
Do you know how much cap space we had that year? Like $40 million. He was like, no, it sets a bad precedent. I'm like, so does losing, which we're going to do that now for every year, forever, because you wouldn't pay Terrell Owens.
The best part about that is the fact that the media tends to like vilify guys like that. It's like he's not a team guy. I'm like, yeah, he's playing at like literally the highest level you could play of football, and he's like, could I get like probably what I should get? And they're like,
Mai is a team guy.
I love the notion that he's not a team guy. He didn't request that. Like, hey, can you pay Brian Westbrook less money, and then what you've used on that, can you pay me his salary, and then also can you give me the car that he's driving? I want to take that. That would be not a team guy. Okay. Terrell Owens was like, hey, we got all this money just sitting there going to nothing, and I'm definitely the best wide receiver in the NFL. And Andy Reid was like, sorry, my sons need me. I gotta go. It was a hot take. It was blazing. I know. But it's true.
Well,
they
the
did
thing
need
is,
him.
Tito's a little bit insane, and you can't just get an insane guy on your team and expect him to act sane. Just feed his ego a little bit, and he'll perform for you, and he'll score 15 touchdowns, and you go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. This is all Andy Reid's fault. I hate him. Anyway, my wide receivers now. Antonio Brown, Julio Jones. I go A.J. Green. He has played with Andy Dalton, and that's it. Remember that. Des Bryant has arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and Tony Romo. And he had Witten, and he had DeMarco Murray for a few years. I think he's freakishly good, but A.J. Green's accomplished way more with a much worse supporting cast. And then ODB rounds out the top 5. What he's done with a literal mouth breather at quarterback is unbelievable. If he had Aaron Rodgers, he would get 6,000 yards a season. It would be unbelievable. It would be incredible.
What's a shame is I think Josh Gordon's there too, except he doesn't play ever.
No, dude, he tried weed once, so
he should be put down. What a horrible person.
I love it. He tried weed once and he got a DUI, and then Jim Irsay was caught literally looking like El Chapo in his car with just pills pouring out of the car and $30,000 in cash. I'm like, you're the guy from Breaking Bad, and they're like 3-game suspension. Kidding me? What a joke.
Oh
What
my
an
god.
absolute-
So, I
Gordon.
guess I don't. My 5 would be something similar to your guys. I don't know. I feel like I can't really think thoughts right now. My brain is kind of fried. But I think Julio Jones is the best. I mean, I realistically don't think that anyone's going to be able to stop him. This is the first time he's been fully healthy. He's killing it in this system. I think Antonio Brown's really, really good. But also, fuck the Steelers. So
Yeah, that's true.
here we go.
Honestly, though, here's what I will say. And it's an interesting point. I still go Antonio Brown number 1, but if you had to throw the ball to one guy in a game to win the game, I would definitely throw it to Julio Jones over Antonio
I agree
Brown.
with that too. Maybe Des Bryant too.
Get out. You know,
Maybe Gronk.
Tony Romo's a really good quarterback,
Gronk,
though.
but
It's
he's a
not
tight
like
end. No one's disputing that. Gronk's probably the best tight end of all time.
definitely. I mean, who else could you even put up there?
A lot of people would say Tony Gonzalez, but those people are stupid and they shouldn't be allowed to speak.
Well, Tony Gonzalez holds
Tony
the
Gonzalez
record
was great
for this.
though.
Get out of here.
He was really
He's like
good.
the Tim Duncan of the NFL.
He was really
Oh,
good,
Lord.
though. He was really good. He
Yeah.
once again, never had any quarterbacks.
What are you talking about? Didn't he have Trent Green one year, dude?
He had Elvis Gerbach.
Elvis Gerbach, Gus Frerotte, I'm certain played for that idiotic franchise in Kansas City, and then Trent Green. I'm thinking that he did pretty. Wait, did Dilfer play for the Chiefs or no? He feels like a Chiefs guy.
Best tight end of all time. He played for the Eagles. Mike Ditka.
It's like, what a racist piece of shit.
Exactly.
I hope he watches this. He doesn't though.
All
He's
right.
not watching this. You know what he's doing right now? He's putting a cigar out on some woman's leg. That's what he's doing right now because he's a horrible person.
All right. Well, I think on that note, we will end the second episodes of Hot.
Do you guys think we should have a sign-off song?
That was a literally hot take. Yeah, we should all have a sign off.
Here's my sign-off song.
Oh,
We're doing songs.
Jason hates this song.
I can get behind this.
My sign off song is just the fucking chorus of Thrift Shop on loop for like the next 5 years. I'm gonna
Wait,
pop
we did
some tags. Hold on, I need to pick one then. I'm gonna pick one under pressure, and it's not even gonna be a good one, but I mean I'm gonna find one. Hold on. Drake, Hotline Bling. I mean, I just gotta go through this now. I got a good one. It's actually the last song I added to my playlist.
All-Star by Smash Mouth.
Wait till I get my money right. I had a dream I could buy my way
Please.
to